Hi everyone, my name is Katie Orr. I'm the International Director. Yes, thank you. I'm supposed to stand over here. I'm slow to follow directions. I've been told several times what to do. So I'm the International Director here at NSCC. Thank you so much for joining us for the International Learning Summit. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. The people who put together this event today, it's sadly really not me. So the Small But Mighty International Office staff of Zoran Kandali, do you stand up please? Ashley Pinson-Tobin and Kelly McMullen. And thank you so much for our campus principal, Paul Little, for welcoming us today to our campus, and we're so happy to be here with you. We're also videotaping this for other campuses and people who weren't able to join us today to see later on. And I'll just review how this is going to go today. We have 2 different panels, and then we have what we're calling, rather ambitiously, a networking lunch in between, which means a pizza free-for-all outside. So we have right now our International Student and Immigrant Student Experience panel, and until about 12 o'clock. And then we will have an awards ceremony for our International Impact Awards. Half an hour for lunch, 12:15 to 12:45. 12:45 we'll reconvene and start with our second panel on international learning programs, and then wind up with the awards ceremony for that group. And we'll finish up at 1:30. So without further ado, I'll introduce our panel, who I think everyone wants to hear from rather than me. We have an all-star panel, so I'm just going to, it's actually not in the order that people are sitting, but that's okay. So I'll get you to stand up when I call out your name, and thank you all so much for volunteering your time to be here today and come from other campuses and other activities and missing classes or other things that you probably didn't want to do or work. So Dima Adurup. Dima's an amazing person I've heard speak before, and be careful, once you do a great job speaking, then I'll ask you to come back several times. Dima is a civil engineering, she's actually a 3-time grad of NSCC, most recently civil engineering technology and the EAP, here at this campus, the EAP program at the IT campus, but also came through the Women Unlimited program. So that's 3 times with us, that's wonderful. Akash Pandey is beside her. Akash is a student in graphic and print production. He's also president of the Student Association, and he was a past International Student Ambassador last year here at this campus. And then in the back row is Tia Sawyer, Student Services Advisor here at this campus. And back to the front row we have Cecilia Jorge Maciel. Cecilia is a business student here at this campus and an international student ambassador. She also gets to work, she has the pleasure to work with me a couple of times a week, which I'm sure is not a pleasure all the time. But she's a wonderful student, international student. We also have Catherine McLean, EAP faculty. That's English as an additional language at the IT campus. And in the back, last but not least, Wendy Dewey, tourism faculty at the Akerley campus. So I've got a few questions, and some of you may have questions as well. What we are doing in Nova Scotia and at the Nova Scotia Community College as we begin to work with and welcome and celebrate international and immigrant students to our college campuses and communities is to help grow that welcoming community spirit. And I think we're always struggling for ways to improve and to learn from the people who are our students themselves, our immigrant and international students, is it a really important piece of that. So we have some questions for the students, we have some questions for the staff, and other people may have questions as well. So the first question I want you to consider is, and this is for all of you to think about, can you tell me about a memorable moment or experience you've had at NSCC as a student or as someone who works with international or immigrant students? So who would like to go first to answer that question? Who's the bravest? We have a microphone right there. And you're going to stand on the X, Dima?
Oh, yeah, sure. Won't forget that. Okay, so Hi, everybody. Experience. Okay, I wanted to answer that question differently until something happened at work today. So I brought some Arabic food, and one of my friend at work said, "What is this?" And they all of a sudden they eat it all, which I was happy that that happened. But then we were thinking about making potluck, and at work they said, "Who's here is international, like come from a different countries, like not from Canada originally," and we were just three, and they were so sad. They're like just the three international people at the company, which means that there is no much pleasure of sharing like a lot of different food at the thing. So we make a suggestion that everybody will make recipe from a country, like he choose a country and then they make a recipe from that country. That remind me of something happened at the NSCC. I never eat my lunch. I always eat my Chinese friend lunch, my Canadian friend who's like his wife is Filipino and she make a delicious food, and just the spirit that everybody bring his lunch and he know he's not gonna eat it, and then he bring a big container because he know that we all gonna share it. It's something I loved at the NSCC, and it's something I'm trying to do at work, and it's something I want to do with my neighbors, and it's something that bring a nice feeling when you have different experience from different countries, learning about different cultures, taste like different flavors. Know that if at a point of time I want to go to China, I have somebody there who gonna welcome me and who gonna take me on a tour in the country. So that was like one of the experience that I had, and I really wanted to stay, and I wanted every part of Canada to have this international experience, and I wanted to grow here in the campus. And yeah, thank you.
Me too. Thank you. Excellent. There we go.
Hi everyone, as I have been already introduced, I'm the president of Student Association here. My experience, like I have a lot to share, but again, the time is less, but I'll share something. Like I'm an international student myself, so I have faced barriers and I have been through a lot. But again, at the end, when you enjoy the fresh breeze of Nova Scotia right in the morning, 5:30 when you wake up and you know you have a lot of assignments due by the end of the day, it's amazing. I love it. To be honest with you, I love Canada right now. Because when I came from India, I was like, I enjoyed my life so far. Back in India, I did my bachelor's and I came here with an intention of doing master's. But at the same time, the way I used to do back home. Okay, I passed in some assignments, it's done. But over here, for the first time, I felt like studies are really very important. And at the same time, our professors or instructors, what I learned, the most important and the basic part, the management. How you manage the studies as well as enjoy your life at the same time, which makes it easier going forward, making your career as well. And you don't feel like stressed out at the end of the day, oh, I have a degree, but I don't have skills. No, if you know how to manage it. So there was this guy who was sitting at the back of SA office, crying, sobbing, and I was like, what happened? So he was like, I have a bachelor's degree, and I'm doing a diploma here. But I don't know if I have that skill. I'm like, do me a favor, do whatever you feel like for next half an hour. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's doing anything. Trust me, he was a good painter. And he turned out like he made my painting, and I loved it. So from that point, he switched his program from what he was doing. I don't want to mention him. Otherwise, he'll be like, you mentioned my story, and I don't want to do that. But right now, he's enjoying his life by gaining more knowledge of what skill he already had and gaining more knowledge in what he is. Like, he would be making more money for doing something which he loves, and he'll enjoy the life afterwards. That was my memorable moment.
That's excellent, Akash. Thank you for sharing that. Here we go, Tia. She's not one to wait around. Usually.
No. I'll try to make this brief. Haha, no, it won't be brief. Before coming here at the Waterfront campus, I'm a student service advisor here, first year BA. I worked in recruitment at the IT campus, and one of my duties was to respond to emails from international students, and I love it, and that's one of my passion. I was once an international student, so I really can relate to a lot of the international students. So I would always be interacting with these international students through email. And there was one particular student, and I can probably mention her name, she probably wouldn't mind. Jenny, if you do mind, I'm sorry. Her name was Jenny, and we correspond back and forth for a very long period of time because she was trying to get straight in regards to her study visa and getting here and so forth. And so I was always happy to hear from Jenny. She had all the spirit. She was always so friendly and kind and so grateful for the help. And so I didn't think anything of it. And then international orientation came around, and Ashley was like, Tia. And I'm like, yeah, you're coming to orientation? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, great. There's someone who really wants to meet you. And I'm like, really? And so I got to the orientation, and there was Jenny. And she was like, Tia! And I was like, Jenny! And it was that moment, because you're really corresponding through email and maybe a telephone here and there, but you're not really relating on that physical, personal, one-on-one level. And to see this person who you felt that you knew, and we're like hugging each other, and I know people are like, oh, do they know each other? And I'm like, I'm meeting her for the first time. And they probably were like, whoa, weird. But it was just such a great feeling to meet Jenny after corresponding with her for so long, months. And now she came here, and she was at the Waterfront, and I was still at IT, but we still kept in contact with each other. And then I moved over to the Waterfront campus, and Jenny was here, and she would come and visit me in my office, and that relationship built straight through until Jenny graduated. She just graduated in June, and now she is out there with her own production company, doing videos and so forth. And it's just, for me, working with international students and seeing them through the transition here is what is so fulfilling for me. So just makes me happy.
That's great. Thank you, Tia. Cecilia knows she has to go next.
Hi, so I'm an international student, so I was trying to think about the moment when I just moved, and that was really helpful for me. So it was like in the first month, and we are still adjusting everything, and we don't understand like how things work. And in the class, students like in the first, everyone was in the first year, so people don't talk a lot like among themselves. And I was, that's so weird. I was used to people like going inside. So I'm from Brazil, so I'm used to people going inside and talk and chat. You don't know, but you just chat a lot. And then, oh, let's go someplace else. Just have a beer or do something like in the same day that you meet. And then it was so quiet. No one had any questions. And that's so interesting. So I was just waiting to see how things were going and try to adapt to this new environment. And one of my instructors, that was Frank, he was trying to, he always explained the content that we had to study, and at the same time he would share personal experience so we could grow from his experience. And he was saying about one of his friends that used to live here. He was an international friend and was living here for a few years, and haven't ever traveled around Nova Scotia to go anywhere because he didn't have anyone to go, or just working and doing his things and never had done anything. So Frank invited him to go, and he had amazing experience. And so that experience that he had, they make my classmates come to me after the class and say, oh, how things are going. So they were more open for that, and that really helped me to see, oh, it's just a matter of, I could see that people look at me in a different way, but it's more because I don't know how to deal with that. Sometimes I feel like that. And so that makes, oh, I can actually go and talk, and they will answer. It's just, so it was really, really amazing and really nice.
That's good. Thank you. After that, I want to go to school in Brazil. It sounds like more fun.
Hi, morning. got this question, I was trying to think, is there a particular moment that I actually remember from working with immigrant students for all these years? I've been in the English for Academic Purposes program since 2002, and I've met quite a number of immigrant students coming through my classes. In fact, they're all immigrant students. And I'm always struck by the bravery that they show. Trying so hard to think of a moment, but there isn't a particular moment. I think over the years, the thing that stands out for me is the bravery that they show in coming to this country to start a new life. And so many of them start from the very beginning. Even the students who are well trained in their professions back home have to start at the very bottom. And I'm always so in awe of the courage that they show and the hard work and the determination and the pleasant way that they do it. Very rarely do I ever hear students complain. Obviously there are challenges, but students are so interested in being here. They want to contribute to this country. They want to be a part of this community. And those are the feelings that sort of are significant for me. How much they work, how hard they work, and how incredible their contribution is. And I'm always so, I'm impressed, but I'm also so honored to be able to work with people from around the world. And I wish that there were some ways that we could get more people engaged with our immigrant community, because it is worth it. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. Wendy.
So one of the benefits of going last is that I can say ditto and sit back down, right? You know I won't do that because I like to talk too much. My name is Wendy Dewey, and I'm a faculty at the Tourism Management Program at Akerley Campus. And Akerley Campus, particularly in the tourism and culinary programming, we've been very fortunate to have international and immigrant students for quite a long time now, although having started working at the college when I was 12, we have steadily seen an increase now to the point where this year our international and immigrant students outnumber our Nova Scotian and Canadian students, which is incredible. I can't tell you from a tourism point of view in the classroom, when you're trying to, certainly a global industry, it is so phenomenal to have the international and immigrant students in our classroom, not only for each other as support and friends, etc., but also for our non-international and immigrant students to learn more about the world, because for many it's so small. They haven't even been outside of Nova Scotia, let alone the country. They may not know of someone who speaks a different language than them or looks different than them. So it's really quite phenomenal. And again, same thing, to pick one moment is really, really tricky. Personally, I love watching the learning that happens, not only from the immigrant and international student perspective, but also from the Nova Scotian Canadian student perspective, because it's amazing to see their learning happen as well. So they add so much to the classroom. We at the Akerley campus started something with our students in all of our programs on campus. We started years ago now, a Tuesday afternoon meeting time where all of the students, at first it was just our international and immigrant students that were invited to come and share and talk about the challenges they were having, or questions about, how do I do this? How do I get a bank card? Or maybe things like that. And then we opened it up to our local students as well, so to speak, and just to increase sharing and awareness, and it was phenomenal. It's like a big party, basically. Every Tuesday afternoon we'd do each culture would take each student from that culture. So if we had a group of students from Peru, they would have a week where they would talk about their culture and things that they would do. Around Halloween time, we'd have a big Halloween party for them, because in many countries Halloween is certainly not the same as it is here. We're very fortunate to have the culinary programs on campus as well. So we have our baking pastry arts and our boulanger program. and our culinary arts. And so from a food perspective, we eat very well. And the international students really added that flavor into it as well. So that's one of the things that's been quite successful at our campus. I think, one thing specific is hard, but one thing just happened today, and Ashley, you're probably going to be getting a call soon, is we had a student.
She's really happy about that.
One of our students who's here on scholarship this year has enjoyed her time so much already that she wants to see if she can stay longer. And that's not abnormal for our students. They want to extend their time here, not only at the college, but in Nova Scotia and in Canada. And I think that speaks volume, particularly to how the Nova Scotia Community College treats our international and immigrant students and the support services that are provided for them. But also it speaks volumes of their peer group as well, that they feel comfortable enough to stay and want to stay longer, or do their co-op work terms here before they go home, etc. Or in some cases return after they go home and come back here. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but there's just, when you're 12, you have a lot of experience, so.
Thank you very much, Wendy. So that's a great segue, Wendy, into the second question. So we have some very successful students on the panel, and actually Dima is now an alumni who is now working for an engineering firm in Nova Scotia. Congratulations, everybody. I think that's an amazing accomplishment, and she's hopefully going to stay in Nova Scotia. Is that your plan? Awesome. And obviously some staff who are not only really terrific at welcoming the international students, I think they clearly love it and get a lot out of it, and their own students, they're creating ways for their own students to benefit from it as well. But what I'm wondering for the second part is what we're really trying to do as a province to create more welcoming communities on our campuses, in our classrooms, in our labs and shops, and also in the communities, and hopefully transitioning into working and staying. Because it's not all easy, and it's sometimes challenging for our own students to stay and work in Nova Scotia, and I think there's lessons for both that we can learn from you guys. So is there one thing that we could do at NSCC to be more welcoming and encourage more of our immigrant and international students to stay and work and live and set down roots here in Nova Scotia after graduation? Is there something that you could suggest that we could do that would be something we could improve on and learn from you? Thanks, Catherine. Catherine probably has two things.
I have a whole lot of things, but I'll stick with one. I think that the most important thing we need to do is to get to know each other. I think that getting to know one another breaks down all of the barriers that exist without perhaps our even acknowledging that they're there. I think once we get to know each other, we understand how much we have in common. And that's what really brings us together, knowing that we don't need to be afraid of newcomers, that just because this person comes from a different country or speaks a different language, that person has many of the same goals and dreams that we all have, and that our community, our lives are enriched by knowing other people, by stepping outside of our comfort zone and really embracing newcomers. When I truly believe that when you feel welcome in a community, you can truly be yourself, you can do your best, and you can contribute the most. And so when we welcome people, we allow that to happen.
Wonderful. That's great advice. Akash.
To be honest with you, it's a pretty broad quotient, and it can be divided into very small parts as well. But what I feel like and what I have seen around, we just need to broad a spectrum of friendship. I'll tell you something which I have felt. I'm a very jolly guy, so I can get into conversations with anyone. I can get into Like, I can talk to people very easily. That's what I feel like. But at the same time, there are students, there are people, there are older people who cannot. They are shy a bit. Even if they're not shy, they don't feel like more comfortable to talk to them. We just need to increase or maybe broader spectrum to talk to them. I have friends, I have a lot of friends. Student who doesn't have friends, they don't have a friend. If that's one scenario. Second scenario, somebody did something like he missed a class. He missed second class. We didn't ask about it. We didn't care what happened to you. Maybe he was just working. Maybe he slept in. Maybe he had some other reason. We just ignored the entire history and we thought he is not the worthy person. We ignored and we slacked. The spectrum is like within just 3 people now. And the guy who's slacking behind, he just goes behind and he's all by himself. The only point I want to say is we need to broaden a spectrum. Everybody has the right to make a mistake. I have made a lot of mistakes. Ashley has like always been like, it's okay, it happens. That's why I love her the most. And I'm here because like when I came here, to be honest with you, I was a very shy guy, I feel like. And Ashley was like, no, you're not. And here I am, like I'm the president of this college. And I'm real proud for that. It's because I got that person, right? Some people, I would say this guy here, he could be a president too. But at the same time, he didn't got the same person, so he is still in the class. You know what I mean? No offense to you, brother. No offense to anyone here. I'm just trying to explain a situation right here. So that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Try to be friends with each and every person. Everybody is individual. They have their own things to do. So just increase your spectrum of love and friendship.
All right. Thank you, Akash.
I have a lot of suggestions, but I'll stick to a few. First off, I think that, as you guys mentioned, relationship building, being welcoming and getting to know other international students is really key and foremost. But I think it's important that we have societies on our different campuses that international students and everyone can learn from each other, welcome them. Canada is new for a lot of international students and immigrants. So they want to feel welcome, as you mentioned. Relationship, getting to know each other within others, such as other international students in the society. Getting together, meeting each other, knowing that they're not alone is a step towards getting them settled and transitioning here, not only at Nova Scotia Community College, but also within the community and within Canada. But I also think that we also need to have more stay in Nova Scotia programs, workshops. I find that the information is not getting out to students on how to go about staying here in Nova Scotia. They don't know who to contact because, as you mentioned already, Kashi, there is not a relationship there. They don't feel secure in asking. So I think that we need to have more information available to our international students and procedures on how to go about achieving, if they're willing to stay here in Canada, permanent residency. And that information really, really is not known to a lot. And if we're looking to have immigrants and international students stay here, we need to start to educate them and provide them with the information that is easily readable, like at their fingertips. Not that they have to look and search for it. We provide workshops, we provide seminars. Please, if you're interested in staying here in Canada, come to this workshop, come to the seminar. Please apply to the Stay in Nova Scotia program. A lot of international students are probably not even aware that that program exists. Again, the information is not getting to the people that need it most, and those are the international students and immigrants. So I agree, we need to build relationships, we need to get to know each other, but we also need to make the information available and communicate with everyone here. So that's just a few key information.
Excellent. Tia, and thank you because for bringing up the Stay in Nova Scotia program, and actually I'm pleased to say that out of all 10 post-secondary universities and then ourselves, the 11th, we had the highest percentage of applicants to the Stay in Nova Scotia program this year, which is brand new, so well done, everybody who's encouraging them, and we can do more. Yeah. Who else?
things that I feel like students need is no judgment. Like when you see an international student, like don't judge people because of how they look like, or like what they people hear about them in the media, or like just because he's different, they start think he doesn't speak English for some reason. So like students know English, by the way, because they're students. And like so like when people like see you and then judge you from without even talk to you, that really hurt people feeling, and then they won't stay. They would just take their degree and go home, really. But when people feel welcoming, they will start like make more communication and like know more about Canada, and then love Canada and stay with it. And one of the reasons that make me stay in the NSCC, that like the environment is very welcoming. Like everybody's like love everybody kind of thing. And people are not shy to ask. If they want to know something, they will just ask about it. And like, and I was very welcoming to answer questions. And what make me happy in my work is the same experience. But one of the things happened in my work placement. Everybody was like very nice, like in an awkward way, like extra, like very nice. And when I finished my work experience, one of them said, I now know you, and I know how Muslim people think, and it was totally different image than when I met you in your first day. But like he doesn't show it, you know what I mean? Like he just like, you know, just like be nice and stuff. But then after like all the work experience I had, they start to know that it's totally different. The image they had is false. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's not what we know is not the truth. Like we have to know people, talk to them, ask them about their experiences, know their country. Like people like when they see somebody, for example, like from Jordan, for some reason think that it's a desert. It's not a desert. Like we have greenlands, like we grow tomatoes and stuff, and but like we don't ride camels. Like we have cars, we have BMWs. Like it's different. You know what I mean? It's like so you need to talk. Like you need like no judgment. If you need something, just ask about it. Don't feel shy. Like and really international students are really welcoming to answer. Like because they know that they're coming from a different country and they will face these situations. If somebody come to their country, they will ask the same questions, right? So yeah, be just normal. That my advice for everybody. Like if you really want to know something, just ask for it. And if you really want to try something, just go for it. Like just I don't know, like people put a lot of restriction, I think, in relationships, and I think we need to take it away. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Dima. Anyone else?
I really only have one thing to add this time.
2 minutes.
No, yeah, no, because I can't certainly say it any better than that. The only thing I will add to that is that I think we would be well served at the college if we had even more Ashleys, Zorans, Katies, and Kellys working for us, because they do a phenomenal job in supporting our students and organizing activities that support our students, which inspire us at the campuses to do more to inspire our students. So I don't know who needs to be listening to add more Katies and Zorans and Kellys and
We have
Ashleys,
researchers
but
here. They probably do cloning.
excellent. So I think that.
Yeah, and I think we need more of you. Thank you, Wendy.
So it was a terrible idea to be the last one. Everyone just said everything. But I agree with the relationship building and the activities, and especially the programs offered by NSCC. So I was lucky to be in one of those programs at the International Student Ambassador Program. For the first year, it was happening last year. And I'm still in it, and it really helped me to be myself again here, because I kind of didn't have the confidence. So I'm just, everything's different. Can I do this? Should I do that? In a group project, can I just go ahead and try this or no? So I was still trying to understand, and then I started working with them as an ambassador and to support other international students here. So we would plan activities and meetings. Akashi was one of them. Dima was part of some of our activities. So we get to know one another and see the challenges that other people are going through that are similar to ours. So we share experience, and then we have like this opportunity. It's like a work opportunity, so we have to work together. We have to do things by ourselves and plan and engage students to be part of everything. So it makes me really believe that I'm able to work and I'm good at some things that I didn't even know that I was good at. And it's really, really wonderful, these programs. That's really nice.
Thank you very much. At the lunch, or as I said, push somebody out of the way for a slice of pizza outside, you'll have a chance to learn more and interact more with our panelists, but please join me in thanking them for sharing their advice with us and thoughts today. I've also been reminded when you push people out of the way for the pizza, please don't take it back in here after. No food in here, no food. Or drinks, right, Kelly? Okay. So could Jeff and Paul come on up to the stage to help with the awards ceremony, please? This is the drum roll part. Okay, here. This is just like dancing the samba, I think. You move over here. Yep. We're being videotaped, so that's why the choreography. Okay, so we have our International Impact Awards, and our first award winner is for Best Blog from an international student, and that is for Ruby Briones. Many of you know Ruby. She was a tourism student on exchange from Peru. She wanted to be here today, but it was a little bit far. But Ruby will be, I'm sure, in touch with us to thank us for this, and congratulations to her. We have a couple of other awards, and this is really to celebrate the impact that our employees and our students are having on the student learning here at NSCC. So through the international and immigrant experience work that we're doing. So Jeff Taylor, who is our AVP of Research and Innovation, who's beside me, also my boss. So everyone, big round of applause, please. And Paul Little, our Ivany Campus Principal. They'll help me, please. Another round of applause. Give out these 2 awards. So we have 2 more awards. So one is for a student and one for an employee who has had a meaningful impact on international and immigrant student experience at NSCC. So we have the nominators here, I believe. Cecilia? Cecilia, are you ready to announce the winner? Who you nominated?
So I think everyone knows Tia, and I just read like a piece of the nomination. And so Tia always has her door open for international students and receives us with a genuine smile and supporting words. She takes time to listen to us, to understand our situation, to help us to find out what we want or can do, to offer support using NSCC services, or just giving us kind words. Sometimes, more than an obvious solution, we need someone to talk to get comfort and our confidence back to be able to keep going. She's an amazing person with a wonderful heart that treats students as people, not just numbers. She makes me feel valued at NSCC and that I'm the main reason why the college exists. When I think about good things from my experience studying at NSCC, I think of her. Immediately, a smile comes to my face. She's awesome.
Okay, next award winner is a student award winner. Her nominator was Marilee Prent from the Women Unlimited program, but Catherine McLean will read the nomination.
Morning. So I'm reading Marilee's words. Dima should be recognized with the International Impact Award because she has demonstrated community engagement and solidarity. When she first started as a student in the English for Academic Purposes program at NSCC, she immediately became involved with international students by providing them with English and academic support. She attended international student events, including activities, welcoming events, and learning panels. She connected with many international students and provided support with tutoring, helped them get familiar with the city, took them to ethnic food stores so that they could purchase traditional ingredients for their meals, and connected them with banks and services to make their stay in Canada easier and enjoyable. She also volunteered with the public libraries, helping newcomers learn English, an activity that she continues. After completing the English for Academic Purposes program, Dima completed Women Unlimited in 2014. In 2017, she graduated with a Civil Engineering Technology Diploma from Ivany campus. She's currently working at WSP, Engineering Consulting Services, as a civil engineering technologist. As a participant in the Women Unlimited program, Dima demonstrated her passion for helping others. She often invested time to support other students by tutoring them in mathematics, organizing the classroom, and maintaining schedules to ensure that everyone completed tasks. While in the Women Unlimited program, she always kept a positive attitude that was transferable, therefore creating a friendly and welcoming environment for all. Dima understood the need that we all have to belong and made sure that everyone in the classroom felt welcomed and accepted. She took the initiative to organize gatherings, and in doing so, she demonstrated leadership skills and community engagement. While a student here at Ivany campus, Dima engaged in tutoring students and was very invested in providing academic support to non-Canadian students who struggled with language, culture, and academic issues. Dima is currently tutoring new students in the technology programs and has been a very motivating mentor for those students. It is my absolute pleasure to see Dima win this award.
So before we break for lunch, I want to thank all the panelists, all the people who nominated. We had lots of nominees this year for the awards, and we got to meet some really caring and engaged students and employees at NSCC through the process. And if any of you are inspired, and I hope you all are, to become more engaged with our international and immigrant students, please get in touch with Ashley Pinson-Tobin, who manages this program, along with people from around the college and works with everybody at every campus on these issues, and she'd be happy to talk to you at the break. So we're reconvening for those of you who can at 12:45, so please grab a slice. Don't bring it back in here, and enjoy a network. Thank you, everyone.